everybody, welcome to Boast-Cast. Today, we're interviewing Eddy from the Edouble gamer channel, and he has some amazing content for you. But before we get into that, let's talk about our sponsors. Here we have the Nub speaker. You all know about it. Bluetooth, fits in the palm of your hand. It's pretty much amazing. But we also have their greatest and latest product, the Earbolt speakers. They're Bluetooth in-ear headphones that are customizable, and you can change them however you want. They're amazing, and even better, we have a discount code for you. So check it out. The link's in the description. You all know what to do. But now, let's get into the podcast. All right, so welcome to Boast-Cast, episode number 8 now. Today we're interviewing an YouTube gamer, another YouTube gamer, I know. It's a great concept. We're happy to have you. Mind introducing who you are, Eddy?
Yeah, my gaming channel mainly focuses on Star Wars, mobile gaming, a little bit of Walking Dead more recently, but for the most part, it's for Star Wars, Force Arena, which is a mobile game for both iOS and Android.
Oh, okay, so you strictly do mobile games, or how do you go about deciding if you're going to play mobile, or do you use any systems?
Well, yeah, when I first started, I was like, I don't want to just do gameplay. I wanted to do something different, so I started amassing together all the equipment, the Elgato, which I connect to my iPhone to get that clarity. And then pretty much what I do, my main thing is just creating concepts. You know, whenever there's a game, people always want more. I feel like, as I know that even speaking from experience, and what I do pretty much is, like, let's say for this game, Force Arena, and if you follow Star Wars, there's dozens and dozens of characters. So when the game was released, there was only so many characters they released. So I just started putting together concepts. I started creating actual templates based off the game and making them look as realistic as possible to the point where people really think it's the real thing. But that's just what I do. I just kind of create concept ideas and as well as gameplay as well. So kind of a plethora of many things for this game that I upload.
That's really cool. Yeah, I was wondering about that, but before we dive into some of the stuff that goes on with that, I want to take a step back. And first and foremost, where are you from, Eddy?
I'm born and raised in Anaheim, California. So I've spent majority of my life in Southern California. Well, almost all of my life. So yeah, currently in Anaheim. Yeah, for the most part, I've only been out of state a few times, Arizona, Las Vegas, and out of country maybe once. But yep, predominantly Southern California.
Okay, cool, nice. Not a bad place to grow up. That's pretty cool. And my next question is there something that got you into YouTube specifically, like before you started doing the gaming? Or how did you get into it? Were you full-fledged gamer from the start, or did you kind of try some other avenues before you got into the gaming?
You know what? I think for the last 5 years, I was only into just one game. It was a game called FIFA, which is a soccer game, and I was into that, and I played it religiously. But I I kind of would go on Twitch just for my buddies so they can see me play when they first implemented that into the Xbox scene. But I never really thought about actually uploading videos for people to see. But it just started pretty much with just an idea. I said, hey, my friends were like, yeah, this is a pretty cool concept you created. You should share it with others. And I started sharing on the forums, and then it just exploded to just, hey, let's just start making videos about it. So that's pretty much how I started.
That's awesome. Yeah, so it just kind of spread like a wildfire, and you just went with it, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was just going to be an idea, and then I got extremely good feedback from the community. People were just giving me, saying, hey, this is really neat. Like, that's crazy. How do you do that? Can you do this? And then it started from just giving my ideas to just now just taking requests and getting people's suggestions and building cards for them. And like maybe their favorite Star Wars character is not in the game. So I went and I put together their character, made a concept card for them. Wow. And it's really been growing since I started in January of this year recently.
So you kind of started taking off in January then, huh? You didn't have very much traction before, or were you not really doing it before January?
No, I literally made my channel in January, started uploading content, got my first 100 subscribers within a month.
Not bad.
And then that's pretty much been how it's been, is just 100 subscribers every month and just engaging with the community. So it's been a pretty cool experience for me. I didn't expect that much. I didn't expect it to grow that much. I thought over time I was going to, get a few subscribers here and there, but it's really been growing for me as far as from what I hear from feedback from other channels, they're like, yeah, that's pretty dope. You know, you're getting a lot of subscribers for just starting
Yeah, no
out.
kidding. That's really cool. Yeah, we're kind of the same way. We just started out, but we've been trying to outreach and branch out more. But what would you say brought you the most success throughout this process? Would you say the forums that you publicized to, or is it just reaching out to different YouTubers? What would you say brings you your channel right now the most success?
Just being active in the community. I know that I kind of promote my content through. There's a Facebook group dedicated to Star Wars, the mobile game that I play. There's a subreddit dedicated to the game, and also the official forum. In addition to that, also Discord. So there's a lot of places where I can really promote my content, and I think that's helped me out tremendously because a lot of the player base, you know, the community does. You know, they kind of coincide with throughout those 4 different platforms.
Yeah, sure.
So it's really helped me kind of drop my content.
For example, how big is the Reddit page for the game?
For subreddit, I believe there's 7,000 active people on there.
Wow.
Now, I wouldn't say that they're active, but there's 7,000 people that have actually had that subreddit saved or favorited.
That's really cool. I wouldn't expect that one game would actually get that much traffic, but you never know about these things until you do, and that's what happened with you. You're a perfect example.
Right. There's only one actually YouTuber. His name is Gluten Slayer. He has about 12,000 subscribers right now. He's the one that actually got me into it. Believe it or not, I would watch his videos and just, yeah, like a good personality, good, cool kickback, you know, nature. He's not really trying hard. So he kind of motivated me in a sense to kind of make videos, because that's how I am when I actually do gameplay videos. I'm kind of like not kind of forcing it. I'm just being myself.
Right. What'd you say his name was?
Yeah.
I didn't think I picked that up.
What part did you not
Just the
pick up?
name of a.
Oh, his name is Gluten Slayer, and I've actually I talked to him on Discord. We've had a few conversations a bit. He kind of gave me a little shout out on his actual one of his videos.
Hey,
too,
that's
but...
dope. That's really cool. So you would say he's like your main source of inspiration, or do you follow any other channels or streamers, for example, just for inspiration, or is it primarily him?
Yeah, literally, I would just like. It was funny because when I would be on the treadmill and I just wanted to kill time, I'd watch his videos and it'd go by quicker. I wouldn't watch it like on a spare time,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, watching it over time, like just being on the tread or whatever, working out, watching his videos, he had a really kick back personality. And I can see why he has a lot of subscribers. So from there, I was like, hey, you know, I was kind of like, hey, if this guy can do it, I can do it. So, and not only that, I wanted to go in with a game plan, not just do gameplay. I wanted to do a spectrum of things as well. So I think that's really helped me. It's just not coming into a kind of saturated, let's play this type of game. No, it's more of just like, all right, I'm going to do something else that nobody's doing right now. And I think that's what's making me more successful is doing something that nobody does right now for this game.
Exactly. I think so too. For the audience, for some of the viewers that might not know very much about Star Wars or the game, for example, can you break it down to like the simplest barriers as to what you do and the game itself? If you could just simplify it for the viewers watching that may not know.
Yeah, sure. If you play, okay, let's say Clash Royale, that's a very popular game, or Warcraft. Yeah. Picture that, but Star Wars pretty much. You have 4 guys, 4 real-time players playing in the game, but in this sense, it's only 1v1. So you pick, for example, Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader, and you guys go together and against in a match, and everything is real time, and it's the same thing as kind of Warcraft and Clash Royale. Essentially, it's the same concept. You spawn units. You only have enough energy to spawn a certain amount of units, and it kind of regains over time. But that's pretty much how it is. You use your leader card. You're spawning units, and the objective of the game is to take the other person's turret. And whoever has the most turrets within the time frame, which is about 3 minutes, wins the match.
Okay, wow. That's really cool, yeah. I think I need to get into this. That sounds pretty dope. I'm sure it takes up a lot of time whenever you get into it and you start playing. I'm sure, like, you lose all sense of time and space itself. It's just, like, one of those types of games.
Yeah, and it's more of the essence that it's a very competitive game. Sure. I mean, you can start off playing one game and then, you know, you can spin off like 4, 5, 6 games, and that's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes right there. A lot of in-game objectives that you have to accomplish, like you have to, you know, play a certain amount of matches to gain to obtain in-game currency. So yeah, time does fly, and then this is probably one of the 2 mobile games that I play. I'm not really the type to play many games at once, but yeah, very addicting.
For sure.
Short and sweet, it's very addicting for sure.
And what got you personally into this game? Was it a friend told you about it, or how did you come about playing this game? And then what took it to that next level where you started developing for the game and started to be the asset that you are for the community?
Well, it was funny because that's one of the things. My most recent video goes into detail of how this game needs to promote more and market more. And that was my last uploaded video. But I was actually playing another game, Walking Dead. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. It was a mobile game I was playing called No Man's Land. And one of the objectives is like, you know how if you want to unlock something else, you got to watch an advertisement. That goes with anything. With YouTube, if you want to watch your favorite video or whatever video, you got to watch an advertisement. So that's how Force Arena came into play. This Star Wars game was actually an advertisement that I had to watch in order to unlock a chest for the game that I was currently playing. So I saw, I was like, well, okay, this looks interesting. So I downloaded it and I gave it a go, and I was the only one playing out of my friend's base. And I liked it. And I said, hey, and I told my friend, hey, you want to play this game? And we both started playing it. And I believe it was only a month after the game was released that I've been playing. So it was released in 2017 of January. And that's how I just started playing, and I got really hooked on it. And then from there, I just would post regularly in the community, and people would get to know me. I was, okay, this guy creates concepts. And then I started making videos, and then they just put it all together.
Wow, that's really cool. So you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but does the company reach out and work with you to help you promote your own stuff, or do you have any correlation with the company, or are you just kind of freelance?
No, actually, I think more recently, I say about, I want to say, Jennifer, in March, one of the developers, actually, I spoke with one of the developers on Discord and got into the early access program. Wow. So pretty much what that means is any new characters or any new content, they have kind of YouTubers or people that have been playing since day one. They test it out like a beta version, and they start testing it out. And what the neat thing about this that's going to be good for my channel is I'll be able to release content of me playing with new characters, new content before it's released to the public. So that'll be a big boost for my channel. Yeah, no kidding. Because I've seen that where for example, the Snoke and the old version of Luke Skywalker, they were released, and some of the YouTubers that got their hands on the early content were able to show it on YouTube, and then everybody was just going, all the traffic was going to them. So this will be my first time actually when they do release new content. I already signed, the waiver forms, everything that I needed, so that I can be a part of that program.
That's a really cool opportunity, I must say. Yeah. And is that like your full-time job now, or do you still have like another thing? Where do you see yourself going with this? Is this like a career that you're trying to develop, or is it like a hobby?
No, I have a full-time job. On my last, I'm actually transitioning to a new job. Today was my first day on my new job.
Wow, congratulations.
But on my last job, I had a lot of... Thanks. I had a lot of spare time. I would when it was downtime, I would actually work on these concept cards. So as for my goals, I just want to get to that 1,000 subscriber count. I think that's the main goal for all of them, so you can start monetizing videos. It's not about the money for me. It's more of a passion and to keep this game going. I really, really do like this game, and I feel like I'm kind of joining in the effort to help promote and encourage people to get to play this game. So that's my main objective. Is maybe, I guess it would be nice to get enough subscribers, enough views, so that some of the content that I upload can be compensated to pour into the game. So like use the money to make like pretty much open packs and make videos of that. So that would be a good thing. But as for like full-time job, I'm not being more realistic here. I just want to promote the game pretty much.
Okay. That's good intentions to go into it with. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I kind of have a question about the game too. The reason I don't play a lot of mobile games, and this might have changed within the last few years, is that they used to all be, I would say, like a pay to win. Like you put in money into it to get better stuff, and those people would just be on top. Like you couldn't compete with them no matter how good you were, because it's all about paying for the better stuff. Is that what you would say this game is, or would you say it actually moves away from that model and it is more about skill?
Yeah, and again, I go into it deep in my last video, just problems with that, with what you just stated, the game kind of turning into a pay to win. where it's just people are just in the beginning, the model wasn't like that. It was like, okay, you earn your cards through development. Development was like you play, you grind, you earn your cards. But then they kind of steered it more towards, all right, if you want this new character, just drop like $200, and that's what they call them whales. That's generally the term that they use. But yeah, I mean, it is a problem. I would say that for new players, it's kind of rough. It's kind of tough on them because once you get to a certain stage of the game, you are going up against players that have higher decks, higher level cards. Some are pay to win, some are grinders. But even I struggle through that. I mean, even when I'm playing, I get frustrated because I'm going up against decks and cards that are really high, and I know that they paid to win. But I think that they can fix that through matchmaking, and they just got to make sure that the matchmaking is a lot better so that you're not coming up against these decks that you have literally no chance of winning. It's a big waste of time, one, and two, it's a way, you're not really progressing anywhere if you're just getting stomped out. But yeah, that is a problem, and that's something that I did address in my last video.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, I was kind of curious about the same thing, honestly. And then something else I was wondering, are you a big fan of Star Wars, or what kind of got your attention to the game? Is it primarily Star Wars, or was it the concept of the game? What did you...
I would say both. I would say both. One being, yeah, I've always liked Star Wars growing up, but playing the game more, I'll be honest with you, got me into it more. I think that's just how kind of it works. You play a game, a certain genre, you get more into it, and you start, like, for example, they have like a Clone Wars series. That's an actual anime series on Netflix. I had never watched that, but once I started playing the game back in January, I watched it, like I binge watched it, and now I go see all the movies. I've always been seeing the movies, but yeah, playing the game did get me more involved in it, but I was already a Star Wars fan going on. And as for the game, I just love the concept of the game. It's like, it's 1v1, there's no computers, you just go against the other person, and it pretty much comes down to skill when the matchmaking is right, when you're playing against an equal opposition.
Okay. That's awesome, yeah. Do you think it's easier to find success on a YouTube channel? This is kind of a little out there, but it's kind of just your opinion for the most part. Do you think when you play one game on YouTube, it's easier to find success rather than playing a whole plethora of games? Do you think playing the one Star Wars game is what's grown your channel the most, rather than if you were to play like a lot more variety of games? What's your opinion on that?
Definitely. I think that if you're starting out, you got to find your niche and you got to literally stick to it. Once your channel does grow, like I'm saying, for example, if I start growing to like 2,000 or 3,000, then I've already I've kind of incorporated a new mobile game that I play, and I've kind of promoted it in the right communities. But for the most part, if you built your subscriber base off of one game, you have to kind of realize if you just introduce a random game like Fortnite, I know that's a bad example because everybody plays the game, but if you introduce a random game, your viewers or your subscribers are not really going to look at it, so it's gonna flop. Right. So I think it's important to just focus on the main game that got you the subscribers, and if you see like growth on that, you want to keep pushing it. Now if you get to the point where you have enough subscribers, then you can slowly integrate another game and see how it goes. But yeah, I've seen channels where they'll Force Arena was their best content, and then they'll like post random anime games and they'll get like maybe 5 or 10 views, and it's like, yeah, you got to stick to your big guns, stick to your main product.
Yeah, so you say consistency is kind of the secret ingredient to the overall equation that is YouTube. Is just trying to stay consistent to the audience that you're growing, the whole demographic. It's just give them what they want, right?
Exactly. Cool. Yeah, exactly. And if you're gonna integrate another game in, make sure that you're not just throwing it out there and just seeing how it goes. No, it doesn't stop. You got to go and do your due diligence. You got to go into those communities of the newer game that you're trying to incorporate to your channel and drop the link there. And that's what I did with The Walking Dead. And it's funny because I'm pretty much kind of doing the same thing. I'm making like concept cards for that mobile game as well. Same thing I'm doing for Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm just kind of keeping the same thing and just kind of seeing how it goes. And so far, it's been all right.
Not bad. Is it through the same company, the Walking Dead game as well as the Star Wars? Is it like the same company that you work with, or is it separate?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they're two separate.
Okay, cool. And did they come to you both times, or was the Walking Dead one a bit different?
No, I just uploaded one video for Walking Dead recently. It's about 2 weeks ago. But no, that's just one that I made. I haven't really been active in the community. I've been focusing everything on the Star Wars game, where I've actually spoken with some developers and some of the OG players as well. Some of the top players.
That's
in the
smart.
game.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, and I've been wondering too. Has your fan base, have they said anything about you only playing the one game? Are they pretty okay with that, or have they asked you like, oh, we want you to play this game, we want you to try this one? Like, have they been trying to get you to play some different games, like just because of your personality and how they want to see how you react to different games?
No. For the most part, it's just like just feedback on my current games, and they're just wanting me to come out with videos with maybe different suggestions, and like I'm always reading the comments and always engaging. But for the most part, no. I mean, the audience they like the content, and then they pretty much give me good feedback, and it kind of motivates me. It's encouraging to see you're getting positive feedback, so I stick to that.
Go ahead.
But I will say that I do play some Xbox One, so in the future I do want to kind of bring out some like Battlefront. Like I know that's a Star Wars game, so I'll bring out more Star Wars games, but it'll just be on the Xbox instead.
Okay, cool. What were you gonna say, Adam?
No, I was also wondering, as far as the fan base, do you encourage them, or do you have a preference to like not spending money for packs to win for different items, or I don't know, because sometimes with games like there's cosmetic stuff, which I can see spending money on that, but I have a real problem with games where you're paying for like an advantage, So do you really discourage your fan base from doing that and trying to do it the honest way, or is it like whatever gets them to win,
Yeah, I try not to take sides, because I know that it's really divided. You have the free to play players that are just they're very hostile towards the people that spend money. And then again, I have really good communication with the top players in the game, which have spent money, and I don't want to take sides, because I understand both sides. It's not fair if you're free to play, but then again, it's not the person's fault that's spending money in the game. It's the developer's fault, because they're not fixing the game in terms of matchmaking.
True.
So I've spoken to both sides, and you have to consider that the people that pay money, they do support the game, they keep it going, but the developers kind of need to moderate that, because it becomes to the point where you're just constantly getting stomped by these top players. But I do understand both sides. In my last video, I did kind of say that they do need to fix that, but I don't blame the people that pay money in the game. And it's not as bad as some other games. There's other games where it's just like, if you pay to win, it's impossible. It's impossible to play the game unless you pour money into the game. This isn't that kind of game. It does obviously help, but it's not like game breaking, I'd say.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, we just wanted your opinion on that. You kind of touched on it a little bit, but you said you also play Battlefront on the Xbox One. Is that like your other like go-to console, or do you have any other consoles that you're kind of like established with that you use on a regular basis?
No, honestly, I don't even play the Xbox One a lot. I did when the game did come out. I played it religiously, and I got pretty good at it. And I've been trying to get time to upload it, but it's gonna be kind of different with the Elgato, because look, when I started, I didn't consult. I didn't have anybody helping me out. I just did everything from scratch. So I did a lot of trial and error. So I'll have to figure out how I do that. But for the most part, it's just mobile gaming on my iPhone and Xbox One when I get a chance.
Okay, cool.
I don't really play PS4.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, everybody has their preference. I had to ask. So another thing I was kind of wondering, whenever you do record yourself, I see you have like the green screen set up. You have some pretty good quality to your shots. What camera equipment do you use for that? And do you have any special tricks for the green screen that you can shout out to the audience? Maybe any trade secrets that you want to share?
Yeah, well, with the camera I use Logitech, that is the C920 Pro.
Okay.
I got a good deal on that, anywhere from like 80 to 100. I did a lot of research before, and I said, with $80 and that actually get really good quality. I use the Blue Yeti mic. For the green screen, it's just a green fabric. But at first I was kind of struggling. Even now, kind of the green screen is a little off, but you can, when I'm using OBS, which is the most popular one to stream or to record, you can kind of toggle between that. And I know I struggled a lot in the beginning, but if you go to YouTube, they'll show you exactly how to tune your background so that it's perfect. Because sometimes it might be a little light, a little dark. But yeah, I would refer to YouTube, OBS, how to fix your green screen, and a lot of good help. If you're just starting up on your YouTube, you can actually get on YouTube as well. A lot of how-to videos that really help
Yeah,
me out.
YouTube's like the leaderboard of education. It seems like nobody else really goes to anything but YouTube to find out how to do what they need to do.
Hey, I used it. My toilet was flooded the other day, and I literally YouTube how to how to use the plunger. Like, it was just that bad. But you're serious when you say that, because it's true. If it's something simple that you don't know, there's a video on it on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely. And if there's not, then that's a whole another niche for a YouTube channel that somebody can embark upon. You know, it's like the wild west when it comes to this type of thing, which is like amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have kind of like a random question. Do you have any like
Sure.
It could be a console game, it could be a mobile game, but any games that you don't really like the way they represent themselves? They're kind of like, I guess you can say, doing it in a trashy way. They're not really in it for the quality of the game, the player. They just want to make money. Do you have any games that you've noticed that are like that and are kind of like plummeting because of it?
Well, I can tell you a developer, EA. EA is notorious for that, and they have such a bad rep because of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first year they didn't finish as worst company in the United States.
Really?
Because they've been that way for the last 3 years, mainly because they're microtransactions. Their microtransactions are borderline criminal. The way that they pretty much release half, 50% of a game, and they charge you $60 for it, and then you got to pay more for the other 50%. And that was the huge backlash that Battlefront 2 had. That's why I stopped playing it a bit, because they made it more pay to win, and you can upgrade your character through cash, and it was never like that. So
Wow.
I would say pretty much every EA game is like that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, now that I think about it, that's really wild.
You said a company beat out EA this year. Do you know what company that was?
That was the worst this year?
Yeah, you said someone beat out EA, yeah.
I would think some bank. It'd probably be one of the banks. There's been a lot of fines of people getting, a lot of lenders just getting fined ridiculously. So either Wells Fargo. I think Wells Fargo finished first with their recent scandal, or I'm not sure who, but I know that EA didn't finish first for the first time in a while.
Wow. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, we have the fact checker looking it up, but while he looks that up, I have a kind of another question that revolves around your gaming type. So, do you ever do live streams, or have you ever been open to the idea, the concept of live streaming, or because of the type of content that you produce, do you see any challenges?
That's one thing I have done. I've done a live stream once. I did it for an hour, and I guess I was really exhausted by the stream. It didn't really give me the goal that I was reaching. I think recording videos is a lot better for what I'm doing. But and also another thing is a lot of people live stream for this game. That's one thing that I'll say is you got about 4 or 5 guys that are currently live streaming and are doing pretty well. They don't really YouTube, but they do just straight live stream. So I kind of want to separate myself from that. I will consider it again. One thing I was doing though is I was live streaming and kind of live commentating gameplay. So if you ever go to if you ever watch an esports and you see those guys commentating of other people playing the games, that's what I was doing, but for like the top players. So I would go into the top guild in the game and just live stream their gameplay because they're really good players. I wasn't playing, I was just live commentating, and I was doing that for a few weeks, but then I kind of stopped because I have a lot of things that I want to upload. Right. But that one did fairly better than just live streaming myself playing. Believe it or not, I did better commentating other people playing than myself playing. So it's something I will consider, but I have tried it already for Twitch and for YouTube.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. That's a pretty interesting concept, though, trying to just live stream through somebody else's by commentary. That's kind of a genius idea, I feel like. I'm sure people do it, but that's a cool platform to do it on and do it in because you have a lot of knowledge for the game. So I'm sure you coming up to somebody live streaming who might not know exactly what they're doing, be able to suggest and coach different opportunities and ideas. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, for me it was interesting because it's just out of nowhere. I was like, well, hey, why don't I because I was watching people play, and they actually, the game implemented a live look mode where before you could just see whoever's in your guild, and if they're playing a live match, let's say my buddy's playing and and I want to watch him play live. So I click on his game and I see him lose, and I give him, I give him crap about it, like, oh, I saw you lose. So they implemented that live look feature into the game, and I was like, well, hey, that's a good idea. Maybe I should go in to the top guild, as my second account on my using a knock simulator. And then I'd click on each game and start live commentating, and it was pretty good. I mean, it's something I'll do again, but a lot of people are like, "Oh man, this is nice." And I kind of created tags, like the names on the middle of the screen, so you can see who's actually playing.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. Hey Adam, were you able to find that?
Yeah. So Equifax, number one hated company in America because they had a data breach of 140 million people.
Wow.
This year. Yeah. Which I knew about that too.
Was it Sony?
Equifax, yeah.
Oh, Equifax, yeah.
Equifax. They had a huge data.
The credit report agency. That's
data
true.
breach. Yeah, their stock dropped like.
That's gnarly.
Let's see, like 30%, and then if you bought at the low, you would have gained 20% back. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So I don't know. That's funny, but yeah, I definitely when you lose that much data or it's stolen. That's definitely pretty bad.
That's wild.
The irony of that, you're supposed to go to there to check your good credit, but instead you're getting your credit stolen with a data breach.
Right, so much irony.
Gotta be careful.
And Eddy, so like we said, we're gonna keep today's episode a bit on the shorter side. I'm gonna finish today off with a good neutral topic. Maybe some people might not like it as much, but I'm sure some people will take your side. Go ahead and list your top 3 favorite video games. Could be mobile, could be console. Just your top 3 video games, and that's kind of our concluding moment.
Oh man, well that's kind of hard because I only play 3 games.
Well then that's perfect.
So
you have the
I'm
3
gonna be
answers.
extremely biased. All right, well for me, the whole MOBA concept for me is my top game is. You mean like in general, like what I think, like my perception of the top 3 games, or the top 3 games I play? Oh, what I think the top 3 games are? That's a good question. I would say, what that game just got released. Number 3 would be Battlefront. The graphics are amazing. It's just really good quality. If you've seen that, it's just they've done a really good job on the gameplay.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, everything else is in question. I would say number 2 would be NBA 2K. I think they really stepped their game up with this latest model. And it's got me thinking about getting back into the game and possibly making YouTube videos on that. And then number 1 is I like the whole Fortnite thing. I know people are gonna like it, but I don't play Fortnite. But I actually watch it. I watch some YouTube videos, and it's pretty entertaining. You got you even got Drake and some NBA players that are actually playing that game, and it's something that I won't play, but it's pretty entertaining in terms of just watching it. I can see why. There's so much hype, and the market is extremely saturated with people uploading that kind of content.
Yeah, that's true. It's like it's like a hate-love thing. It's like how much how long is it gonna live on for? But you can see the quality in it, and it's just like, damn, I'm stuck between a tree and a hard place, rock and a hard place. I'm bad with
Exactly. And they got it in the mobile game, and now they got it in the actual console too. So they're really getting the most of their product right now.
Yeah, definitely. They're making money. No joke.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good point to stop the conversation. Eddy, I want to thank you for coming on Boast-Cast. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. Talk some more about what the future holds, because I'm excited to see with all how fast you've been growing.
There's a lot of potential for the channel, man.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll continue to.
Cool. Thanks for having me on, man. Keep up the good work. I've actually watched a couple of your videos as well of you guys interviewing. So yeah, you guys have a really good thing going on.
Awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and everybody watching, if you want to check out Eddy's channel, links in this description. We'll send over as many people as we can because we just want to see you grow, man. We love the content. We'll continue to watch it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
All right, we'll see you, man.
All right, we'll see you. Take care. Boast-Cast signing off.